With the fourth pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Andrew Thomas, tackle, Georgia.
We're joined by the head coach of the New York Football Giants, Joe Judge, as the Giants selected last night Andrew Thomas, the outstanding tackle out of the University of Georgia. Coach, congratulations on the pick. Just talk about the process of studying him as well as the other offensive linemen and the other players and why he was the perfect fit for the Giants at 4.
Well, I think the first thing we did when we got here as a staff is we started identifying the team needs and some of the places we thought we had to fill to increase, the strength of our team. The offensive line is definitely a focal point. To be a good team, you have to have a great offensive line. That's a fact. We want to make it as strong as can be. There's a lot of talent this year on the offensive line, especially with the tackles this year in the draft. Really, I started with that position out of the gate, and Andrew was a guy who jumped out at me right away. Intrigued a lot of us in the building. We recognize the level of talent. He's got tremendous character, got tremendous upside. We did a lot of research on his background and coaches who coached and worked with him. And in this process, it was very important to rely on our context that we had because of the lack of pro days, lack of 30 visits in our facility. Luckily, we were exposed to him at the combine and got some FaceTime there. And then the rest of it was a lot of this interaction through Zoom and, virtual meeting. So we were able to bridge some of the gaps and feel very good about the pick.
Coach, you often talk about having scheme versatility and having players that can compete at multiple in multiple areas of your football team. I happen to work for the same guy that you worked for, and one of the bedrock principles was flexibility in players and players knowing how to do more than one thing, even if it's from left to right, right to left. And we know that this tackle has played left and right, but for the fans, can you explain why that's important in the course of a season or even in the course of a game?
Well, first off, it's important in the course of a career to be able to start off where it fits the team best and be able to have a chance to compete and get in early in your career and play. It's important within the course of a season because you never know how the roster develops throughout the season and what the team needs are. You may have someone on your team who's stronger on the left, and you have to complement that with someone who's possibly a swing tackle to play on the right. For us, the ability of Andrew to play on the right and the left that she demonstrated in college, that shows that right there he has versatility within the schemes. It'll help us within different game plans. Look, we don't know what the future holds. So at some point, he may be playing on the left and we move him to right for a specific game plan. Maybe that's a matchup, a certain rusher, or to run a specific scheme that we want to go ahead and put in that week. So he's got versatility. I've kind of already heard some, he plays tackle, how much versatility? Well, there's a big difference right and left. So for him to be able to play both effectively, that's big for us.
Coach, obviously the physical aspect of it and what you're talking about, versatility to go from right to left and pretty much play any position. But people always say, what makes a great offensive lineman? Well, when it's tackle, it's footwork, it's hands, all that stuff physically. But mentally, take us inside the mind of Andrew Thomas. Obviously, to go from one side to the other, mentally, you've got to have it there. But what is he bringing to the New York Giants? And what did you learn about him, obviously, with your relationships down in Georgia, about him inside the O-line room, his study habits, and his football intelligence?
Well, from day one at Georgia, Kirby told me he came in and was a true, workhorse for them, went to work, put his head down, learned the offense, whatever he was asked to do, he worked to master it. That's important to me right there. For an offensive lineman, the mental game is such a big part of it. Sean, as you know, the games are truly won in situational football. When we say that, we mean third down, red area, 2 minute. And this is when you get the greatest variety of looks and when defenses really start to spin the dial on you. You can spend all week practicing for base looks on first and second down. It's really third down when the unexpecteds come up. To put someone on your edge as a tackle, you're really trusting to make the right decisions, to secure the edge for the quarterback, in the run game, to really recognize differences and move forward. The tackle is so much further away from the center that a lot of the communication that works inside out, they may not always be able to hear that in a loud stadium. So they have to rely on their ability to diagnose and go ahead and react accordingly to what they know the center inside will be giving them to call for.
How much of that were you able to talk to him about on Zoom applications? Were you able to kind of do some washboard segments with him and have him draw up some stuff?
We've had a tremendous opportunity to really increase how we work within the Zoom. Our offensive line coach, Mark Colombo, has done a phenomenal job, him and Ben Wilkerson, of interviewing these guys through Zoom and really just take them through basically an install meeting for how we would install our offense to see how they learn, how they can go ahead and feed it back to you and teach you. And then also at the same time, watch his own college tape and get a feedback on why did this happen? Why did you do that? And a lot of insight into how their game plan was working and decisions he made on the fly. So really, look, we've had to learn and adjust, and that's our job. And it's helped us, interview these guys and find out more about them. It's always better to be able to get your hands on the guy on their campus, to work with them one-on-one, to see them sweat, to feel them breathe, to put your hands on them, be in a classroom, look them in the eye. But this is what we have access to, and we're making the most of it right now.
Coach, as you go through this draft in your evaluation process, do you factor in your division opponents and their personnel as you may match up with them or may find an answer to something that they have a strength at?
To a degree, yes. To a degree, you have to account for that. You're going to play 6 games a year against your division opponents. You want to make sure that you go in equipped to match up with what they have. And that's going to be 6 games you have to account for. At the same time, there's 31 other teams in the league, and we have to account for all those teams, no matter how we end up seeing them, whether it's early in the season, preseason, so we can operate, postseason at some point. So, the answer is yes, we do account for our division. We don't draft solely on that, though, Carl. It's a lot more of who's the best player available and how do they help our team improve immediately.
Coach, obviously you've got 2 picks heading into tonight's portion of the draft, the 2nd and 3rd round. What's the process during the course of the day as far as you, Dave Gettleman, the entire staff, as far as you're looking at your board and sort of reassessing the situation? Do you kind of get right back into big-time meetings and take a look at guys that are on the board that maybe you're surprised they're still there, that you may have an opportunity to take with the pick in the 2nd round?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll start small and then work big. And we'll talk this morning and expand as we get later in the afternoon. But the first thing we're going to do is look at the board, who's remaining, who the best available players are, and we'll start gauging the value and what they bring to our systems. So right now, I'd say there's a lot of good players on the board. We're very encouraged by the guys out there. There's a lot of guys who fell that we didn't necessarily expect to. So it's very encouraging seeing right now where we're picking and who's available.
Coach, I got to ask you, obviously, your time with New England the last few years, it seems like you have had a little bit of a pipeline to Georgia, right? Yeah, I drafted Isaiah Wynn a couple years ago, left tackle out of Georgia. Sony Michel a year after that. Now, with Andrew Thomas, should we be looking at another dog coming in here in the 2nd round?
I don't want to make any predictions on that. I would say this, though, I don't know if it's such a coincidence. They just have good football players down there, and we're looking for good players. And I'll tell you what, the state of Georgia produces a whole lot of good players. The University of Georgia has a whole lot of good players, and we have a lot of contacts down there that we trust. To me, it's important knowing where they come from and how they've been coached and the demands put on them. I know how Kirby runs his program, and I know they're going to come here and they're going to have a taste for that already because we're going to be very demanding to our players.
So great peaches.
Coach, final question from me. Concurrently with this run-up to the draft, you guys have started a virtual off-season program, at least on some level. How has that gone, and do you feel like you're getting done what you can get done based on the circumstances?
I'm really pleased at how our players have attacked this and worked. Today will be our 4th day of meeting, and really starting Monday, Tuesday, we'll go Thursday, Friday. And I'll tell you what now, they've come in with, great attention, been very receptive. The communication of feedback has been great. We've had to break down these virtual barriers in the first couple of days and get everyone used to working together through the computer apps. But I'll tell you what, their attention, the way they come to work every day, that's been impressive. I'm very pleased with it so far. And really, to be honest with you, it's mostly through this medium right here, Bob, as we're talking right now. They're looking at their camera. It's funny, you kind of forget everyone's individual situation sometimes when you're in a building and you're reminded of, how everyone's away from it right now and they're with their family. We've got players that are in laundry rooms, you can see, with the washer and dryer behind them. You've got guys that are sitting in garages. You've got guys that are in cars because they have kids inside and they're just looking for a quiet place to sit there and work. And it's, whatever you've got to do to make it happen, however you have to adjust, our guys have done a tremendous job at this point right there of making it happen. And I'm very pleased with how they've started out this all-season program.
Coach, we appreciate a couple minutes. The hat game is very strong. A different hat for tonight, or are you going with the same one?
I don't have any, preconceived plans on what hat. I know one just grab one right there and put it on right there. I did get some flack last night on not having a NYFD hat on. So, hey, if someone drops one off today, I'll throw that on for tonight.
All right. Well,
Nice.
we appreciate a couple minutes. And Giants fans, as soon as the Giants make their pick in the 2nd and 3rd round, come to Giants.com, the Giants YouTube channel, or the Giants app, and we will have instant analysis and a breakdown for you. Coach, we appreciate a couple minutes. Best of luck tonight with rounds 2 and 3.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Hey Giants fans, Saquon Barkley here. You want to see more videos?
Congratulations on the pick of Andrew Thomas last night in the first round with the 4th overall pick. What jumped out about this player, and why was he the apple of the Giants' eye? You had an opportunity to draft any of the tackles or offensive linemen that you wanted. Thomas was your pick. What went into that process?
Well, you know, number one, he's got all the tools to play. He's athletic. He's long. He's smart. He's tough. You know, and he's got power. He plays with power. So he's got all that stuff. And, you know, you're talking about a 3-year starter in the Southeast Conference who played a myriad of pass rushers. And one of the things that kind of clinched it for me was I went back and looked at 2018 film of him playing Kentucky. And so he got a chance to have his reps against Josh Allen, who, you know, I think very highly of as a player, as a potential young talent. So he's got all the stuff. He's played right and left. We feel really good about it, you know, about who he is, obviously, not only as a player, but as a person. He'll fit the culture, and he'll come in here and he'll compete.
Dave, there were 4 top linemen in this draft, and I know you guys looked at all of them. Is the fact that he was kind of a natural left tackle, which, you know, obviously those guys can move from right to left, but a guy who knows the left side, did that sway you in any way?
The short answer is yes. You know, it was natural and easy for him, but that, you know, you're talking about a 2-year left tackle starter in the SEC.
What did you see on film that you liked and that you got excited about first and second down?
The difference between a line of scrimmage changer and a guy who just fights his fanny off is the ability to move your feet on contact. Okay, that you know, great group of, you know, that you were a part of. All you guys could move your feet on contact. This is what Andrew was able to do. That's what helps him be that line of scrimmage changer. We want to build an offensive line that can take people off the ball, that's firm inside, that has tackles with length. So we're getting there. We're really happy with the guards. You know, we've got, you know, hopefully P.O. is going to be able to come back. Sean, that was a big part of it. He had those run block skills. You know, last time I checked, it stresses the defense when it's 2nd and 2.
So, Dave, you get into the next few rounds of the draft, and what is the philosophy, you know, once you get past the first round? Is it, okay, we're still building for our future, but these are guys that have got to come in and compete for jobs now? And are you filling needs now, or are you still just roster competition?
I think, you know, again, Kyle, the ideal world is when value meets position need. You know, you can't reach. I mean, you just can't do it. You're going to create an issue. You're going to make a mistake. So we like the way the board looks right now for us for this, you know, as we move forward. And, you know, obviously I've said it a number of times, a 2nd-round player, you're looking for certainly a guy that, you know, will compete to start and should. And, you know, in the 3rd round where we are way at the back end, you're looking for a legitimate rotational player, a guy that's going to come in and give you snaps and help you win right now. So, you know, as you move down the board, you've got to be realistic with your expectations. We didn't know that last year that, you know, in the 5th round, we were going to get Ryan Connolly, who was doing some nice things before he blew his ACL, and then Darius Slayton, you know, wonderful rookie season. And, you know, obviously we're looking forward to him building on that. And we're looking forward to getting Ryan back in the mix. You know, when you're in the round, you have expectations for what that pick's going to do for you and how he's going to fit in. And Kyle's 2nd round, we're looking for a guy to come in and challenge immediately first starter.
Thank you so much for
all right, take care, guys. God bless.
Dave.
And remember, fans, you tune into the Giants YouTube channel, Giants.com, the Giants app. As soon as the Giants make their pick, we will have instant analysis.